Good day, everyone. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure. I'd love to start by asking you to answer one question. Have you ever ran a business? It could be retail, freelancing, commerce, or providing a service as a business. And while you fill out the survey, we can keep on going. Today, we're going to talk about editing e-commerce. Whether we run a business or not, if we are interested in e-commerce and design, there are two things that I want us to come up with at the end of this talk. One is understanding what is the most important thing for a merchant and how AI fits into it. And two, understand what AI means for us as designers and how it can contribute to our work to make commerce better for everyone. The question from before is there to help me assess how much time should I spend on each part of the talk. So recently I read the book The Metaverse. In it, Matthew Ball first starts by defining what it is for him based on the experiences that he had. That definition sets the bar, and by that reveals its challenges, current limitations, and vision of it. I'm not going to get a dictionary and show you what AI means, but I will give you my definition, and I would love to debate it afterwards. So let's take a quick history tour in order to get to that definition. GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. It was first introduced in 2018 by OpenAI. Google also contributed to it. Their researchers have published several papers that have influenced the development of GPT, including the original paper on transformer architecture in 2017, which introduced self-attention mechanism that is used in GPT. Additionally, Google has also open sourced several libraries and frameworks that are used in the development of GPT, such as TensorFlow, which is a popular deep learning framework used to build and train machine learning models. Google has also released several pre-trained language models that are similar to GPT, such as BERT, bidirectional encoder representation from transformers, which uses similar transformer architecture to GPT, but is designed for bidirectional language modeling tasks. For example, you can see what I have over here as an example of that. Do you remember when every device was smart? When everything went IoT? When we were drowning in Bitcoin and blockchain? Well, now it's ChatGPT. And AI, which lets many companies claim that they are doing AI. And they were doing it for years. And you know what? They might have been doing it for years. But let's be clear. This new evolution is the ability to parse huge quantities of data in order to create collages or mixed content. With that comes the opportunity to loop and reverse this process and use it to make decisions autonomously on behalf of the user. Now let me ask you a question here. Who here likes to be told what to do? And on the other hand, who here had a cleaner in their house and they weren't happy with the result? Now, let me ask you another set of questions. Who here likes to consume the same or a version of the same thing of content over and over again? We all do, even though it sounds bad. But we can also ask ourselves about the medium. Is it songs, videos, TV shows, films, and books that we consume in repeat? All these are less mixed pieces of content. What about YouTube, TikTok, Reels, Shorts? We talked about AI and why we might be susceptible to it. This leads us to what is important for a merchant: business efficiency. What does that mean? It means spending time working on important things and having the highest ROI and conversion in their stores. And our role as designers is to help them get that by talking to them, understanding what blocks them, and building tools to free them to do whatever they think is best. To help them learn what is best, to simplify the processes and decisions for them, to make the hard things easy and the easy things invisible, and the important things, whether easy or hard, slower, so they can learn what they mean for their business. I want to double down on this last point. Some things, such as changing domain strategy or running an expensive ad campaign, can have lasting results. So we need to make sure we add the necessary friction to aid understanding and give them some dopamine in the end. It's a science to make people read. That is because often many people are doing something else whilst interacting with the computer. Or they just want to get their goal. Even when it's important. If it isn't designed, often it isn't seen. And that leads me to where we are today with AI content creation. Let's look at it. So it's text, it's long, it's currently without links primarily, and it's the opposite of conversion. It won't be like that for long. All those companies want to find ways to make this business model works with these capabilities, but for now, it is expensive and cumbersome for most. Nevertheless, it will help improve business efficiency. It might not drive conversion, but it most certainly will save time. When we look at our jobs, we need to remember the last time we proposed a project that will save time or money. It's harder to approve, and the results of it are often quickly forgotten. That is because generating conversion projects keep generating, and even though cost-cutting activities continue saving, they don't have the flywheel that conversion has. You only notice the pain when it hurts. Cost-cutting is possible, but it can be a harder sell. It's an exciting time for a tech news addict like me. Every day I read about a new AI startup that does something new. As a case study looking at this round's Y Combinator AI startup batch with an e-commerce lens, you can see it reflects exactly what is possible and will be possible in the next year. Merchants will be able to create content, summarize reviews, reply to reviews, provide customer service, answer FAQs, localize and translate the store, and get suggestions for actions they can do on their stores. It will take time for all the companies that serve merchants to adopt these, and for merchants to trust and optimize these in their own stores. Still, I'm not bullish on chatbots selling products in a chat form. Now let's look at a few examples. Starting a business is hard, and deciding on a name, a logo, is too. There are AI tools that lets you solve this in less time. The reason why I'm saying less is because it's great that AI gives options, but merchants needs to craft it, edit it, and decide on it too, and that also takes time. One of the most demanding and time-consuming jobs merchants have is to write product descriptions. This one is live now in Shopify for all merchants. Wix, for example, have the functionality that reminds that at least for the last 2 years. Another one is AI theme creation. Imagine having a conversion with AI about your business ideas, and as you talk, the store is built. This is already happening with AI that builds websites from prompts. In the future, AI will be able to do more than just build websites. It will be able to help you design your products and bring them to life too. Also, you can already create marketing campaigns and improve your customer service. In summary, today it's easier to write long convincing text, proofread, summarize, generate images, and end up with videos too. It can also touch fraud and supply chains. It isn't a surprise nowadays that innovation is targeting beginners rather than professionals. That happens because there are more beginners than professionals, and beginners need to learn a lot more, so by default they are more flexible than an expert. Which leads me really to an important point. AI is not replacing people, it's mutating them. Change is change, and it is up to us to make it good. How might we as designers embed these new tools in the system? We'll have to learn what's possible. We'll learn how it works, what kind of data it needs. We'll learn what problems are arising from it, and keep iterating. We'll relearn what we technically need to do, while we know what is our goal, to solve problems, to help merchants get business efficiency. I see a lot of articles of people trying to check if it can do what they do, but I think this is asking the wrong question. The question is, does your boss or your boss's boss think that you're replaceable? Do they understand the value that you're creating, and are your standards in line with where the company is? If you think about it, we have seen this happen many times before. Sometimes when someone leaves, when they were amazing at their job, but the business continues operating great with someone half the skill set. Different skill sets are needed in different times. Let's dive into the future and the path to conversion. In the previous talk, I shared this potential outlook. Dystopian future, you can imagine a merchant who creates a store with AI that generates AI-based products based on trends on the internet and is selling it in a localized, personalized, translated store with your favorite influencers that meet you in your favorite feed. Is it necessary for us to know how to solve a problem for it to know how to solve a problem? Probably not. Look at ML usage in healthcare, for example, with CRISPR. We need to know how to ask the right questions and how to critique the answer. I don't think it comes to any of us as a surprise that we will get paid to think, to express an opinions, or to doubt things. Even if we don't know how the answer was created, we need to increase our confidence in it. I'll be honest, I look at some of the messages I read at work and I'm telling myself, dude, you didn't write this thing at all. I have a similar feeling about basic Mid-Journey results. Very much like we all have it for stock footage. We are wired to notice when something is common and when something is different, when hard work went into something and when not. It is all new, but sooner or later, buyers will start noticing it too, and it will impact the level of trust they have in a store, which will impact the conversion for some brands, assumingly more premium versus dropshipping. I don't know how many of you have seen Sharper, the movie in Apple TV+. To be honest, I don't recommend it, lol. But one of the things that the con artist says there is,
We've never seen Titanic.
No. I don't watch movies. They're a waste of time. But I gave you the impression that I did. And that's what we're going to do with you. We're going to give people the impression that you're somebody that you're not. And when I'm done with you, it's going to be 100% convincing. We're going to teach you a little about everything. So that you can lie about anything.
this teaches us that trust is a double-edged sword, and you can get cut if you're inconsistent. Imagine a world where you can create a trust score analyzed by AI, which fills in the gaps for you. I mentioned it before, the disadvantages of text format. The way merchants speaks to their buyers needs to fit how they buy or consume content. Remember what we talked about repetition before? I talked to merchants who were worried about putting themselves out there in the world, facing judgment or bullying in TikTok, or even reviews of their own products from competitors or just people. Imagine an AI that could offset that. Make an avatar that will represent them. It will make it less personal and create a model that will carry and evolve the business forever. Can this help brands bypass cancel culture? We hold the bar higher for people than technology. One of the reasons I personally start searching for an answer on YouTube is that I can sense the seriousness of the presenter. I can tell if they're professional, if they have experience, if they have social validation and information. It's quick. They modeled it for me better than text. I think it will be powerful for merchants to gain superpowers using AI, either in running their business by generating explorations to data they receive, or in video or audio by taking their personality and amplifying it on content consumption platforms and aggregators. I can also imagine a more decentralized future, which each one of us has their own AI depending on how much money we have, like a digital twin that can help. But there is one caveat which is also related to the metaverse book. The caveat is that AI systems currently do not have memory. In other words, the internet is its memory, and in other cases, a dataset is its memory. To remember everything all the time and updating a collective memory will be challenging technologically. Ethics and government can play a key part in determining how AI will work. In the pursuit to get business efficiency, it is easier to regulate big companies, but usually these limitations can only make it harder for the small or medium businesses to compete. Bias can become a weapon, and it usually always is, whether knowingly or unknowingly. If we want to get dystopian, AI can help us live life forever and replace ourselves. Imagine in the future CEOs may have an AI version of themselves, and in 2050, the government may approve the first AI to be the CEO of a company, monitored by human, of course. So, let's go to the conclusion. In conclusion, there's a lot to think about. AI is challenging how merchants run their business through summarization, automation, search, discovery, creation, collaboration, efficiency, and security. But at the moment, there is much more potential in cost-cutting in comparison to revenue generation. It is changing how buyers buy by letting them get faster answers and customizable products. However, there is still a way to go towards meeting buyers where they consume in a trusted, optimal way. Most of the internet's content isn't interesting. It is shallow, beginner-oriented, and mediocre. That is the data source of the AI that will probably be distributed to most of us. There may be databases that will cost more, and it will be in the control of a few, accentuating to the way it is today. All these innovations leave both merchants and us designers in a place where we have to increase the percentage of editing outputs, mix them, and collaborate. We need to get better at reviewing, validating, doubting, having an opinion, and co-creating. These skills will help us get better and everything better. Thank you very much.